Okay, our next story. We take you to Akwa Ibom State. Barrister Inibehe Effiong's journey to the Correctional Center in Akwa Ibom State began on 27th July when he was convicted of contempt by the State Chief Judge, Justice Ekaite Obud. Well, the journey ended for the vocal human rights attorney this Friday morning when he regained his freedom after a 30-day incarceration. In his words, let me quote him, "I want to thank my lordship for the well-needed vacation she gave me," end quote. But he urged the state chief judge to release the closed-circuit TV footage of that day's court proceedings to clear facts. But rather thankfully, let me add that the lawyer secured the release of 17 other inmates while in prison. Some issues are never totally resolved. One of them is the Inibehe Effiong story. Right, Yinka?
Up till now, we discussed this some time ago. This very
when it broke.
Yes. The correctional facility denied that they forcefully shaved him.
But the man was shaving.
Exactly, that's where I'm going. I would have loved them to now release the picture of him while he's out to convince us or to put a light to it that they didn't shave his beard or his hair or whatever. And the CCTV, will the judge release it? Because
if you ask me now,
judge,
I go ask.
The judge has achieved her aim that he must spend that 1 month in prison or in detention or whatever we want to call it.
Correctional center.
Now, I hope that the guy will not allow this to go just like that. He must pursue this case to a logical conclusion.
Yeah.
As the statement or the detail of the judgment being released, up till now, nobody seems to have heard anything about that. Or maybe I missed it when it was released. So he needs to pursue that, and also
because without
Falana needs to let us.
If there's no release statement, you can't file it.
Exactly. So how far has the case gone? The Falana SAN to allow us to know, so that, see, if we allow this thing to go, other judges will do worse than what you have done to him. We are talking about it today because he is a lawyer. If it happened to an unknown person or maybe somebody that is not well known, the judge will get away with it.
It's possible.
So we need to follow it to a logical conclusion and be sure that the judge either was right or she overstepped her bound and needs to be cautioned by the body of benchers or whoever.
Thankfully,
and if it is the guy, Effiong, the NBA should also caution him so that we know exactly what is. It is when things like this happen and you don't apportion blame and punishment that it allows it to happen next time.
Jide, a cynic said, in this country, if we are serious in ridiculous things, chances are we'll be ridiculous in serious things. This has happened. It might happen again somewhere else.
Yes. I suspected that this will happen because in December last year, I think December 3rd, to be specific, the same judge, this judge went on a rant against this young man, and on that day, he said, "Don't stand before me and talk nonsense. I have been on this side of the law for over 30 years, and you don't come and treat the law from there. Is anything the matter with you? This is the court of law, and things are done according to rules here. Sentiments do not overrule that. You are not on Channels TV. Neither are you on Akwa Ibom Broadcasting Television." So when I...
End quote,
as you like to say. So when I read the remarks of the CJ made in a fit of anger, I suspected that that matter, if it was not assigned to another judge,
she will have her own
Inibehe
Was in trouble.
will be in trouble. Now, the judge accused him of using a reporter to cover that case and in the process embarrass the court. So one of the first things that the judge did...
So, see, that's not a bearded...
Yes, it's no longer...
They've already...
Yeah.
Well, let's...
The baby will soon grow.
It will grow.
But they need to explain.
Well,
Yeah.
let's even leave the matter of his we are talking about. So the judge decided to stop the Premium Times reporter from covering the proceedings. Inibehe, seeing 3 gun-toting policemen in the court, then
Felt intimidated?
Yes, and said, what are these guys looking for in the court? But of course, we've seen robbery gangs even come into the courtroom to free their colleagues. It happened in Imo State.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't tell a judge not to allow armed security men in her court, especially somebody of the rank of the CJ of the state. You know, she's someone that has to be protected. So, but I knew that, look, clearly there was no love lost between the judge and this young lawyer. Remember Justice Olatoregun, I think, and the EFCC lawyer.
Yeah.
In the famous Fayose corruption case.
Yes.
The judge had to tell the EFCC lawyer, Jacobs, that, look, I'm not your age mate. You met me in this profession. And even if I was a lawyer, I would still have been your senior. You know, on the bar or at the bar. So that matter degenerated, and the EFCC had to ask for a separate, a different judge. Believing that they could never get a fair trial on that matter. In the end, a matter in which more than 10 witnesses had been presented had to start afresh.
All over.
Because once the judge was changed, the judge was even approaching her retirement at that time. Once the judge was changed, they had to start afresh. That has done serious damage to that case. So I was wondering that this could be history about to repeat itself. But the judge took things further by deciding to jail Inibehe. The MB has done the right thing by reporting the judge to the NJC. Maybe, just maybe, although it's a rarity for even the NJC to indict their own men. It rarely happens. Sometimes when it happens, it's too late. Look at the matter of the former chief judge of the Abuja division.
Yes.
You know, who was guilty of ethical misbehavior. What did they do? They indicted him after he had left the court and become the traditional ruler of a village in Zamfara State. So I'm not even confident that
they would do
reporting the matter to NJC would bring anything out. For Inibehe, that's another lesson learned. People like Falana, people like Gani, you know, they went through
all these kind of
trials. So for him to get to the top, he has to pass through this kind of baptism of fire. So I'm sure that he has picked valuable lessons on that. But in my view, that matter ought to be transferred to another judge, because a judge who attack a lawyer and go to the point of even jailing the lawyer.
All right. Well, the debate will continue, but mine is, while it is not possible to do something about the direction of the wind in this case, we can at least do something about the direction of the ship, gentlemen, right?
Definitely.